Hello and welcome to Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. I'm Becky Parker Geist and I'm your host. Audiobook Connection is your place to learn about the audiobook creative process and for authors to learn valuable tips on producing and marketing your audiobooks. This podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Hey, thank you so much for being with me. On Monday, March 9th, 2026, we held an Amplify Audiobooks preview event specifically targeted to narrators, and I want to share the recording of that preview event. Some of the things that you'll learn from the recording are things like how a narrator can effectively engage and participate on the Amplify Audiobooks platform, and that can include things from the narrator page that they get on the platform, as well as some of the engagement tools where you can actually be in communication with the listeners and the author about the audiobook that you recorded. And that could be either if you were the sole narrator for that project, or if you were part of a cast of narrators. And it's a really powerful tool that you can use to grow your own sort of sphere of influence within the community. But also, one of the things that we highlighted are the ways that you can really benefit your authors that you work with who aren't yet on the platform but would do well to get on the platform. So we covered plenty of territory, and I hope that you will check it out. So here is the recording from the Amplify Audiobooks Narrator Preview. All right, so thank you so much for showing up today and joining us with this preview. I'm super excited about what we're creating and about how it can help all of us, all of the narrators, as well as the authors, the publishers, everyone, listeners as well. So I know that for a lot of you, this will be completely new, and so we'll start off with what is Amplify Audiobooks, and then most of our time together is going to be, I'll be showing you things that we are developing and that are very close to launching, and then there will be plenty of time for questions at the end. I'm happy to stay on as long as people have questions. So what is Amplify Audiobooks? It's a direct-to-consumer platform that, as narrators, you'll be able to actually engage with authors and with listeners as part of the experience. So it's a community-driven ecosystem. So instead of just a marketplace where people can buy audiobooks, it's actually, we wanted a place where people can gather and communicate and build community around audiobooks. So the idea is that building connections around the shared experiences that audiobooks provide. So as a narrator, you will be able to invite authors who may not be on the platform yet, and your followers and their followers to participate and build community together. But for all of you who have audiobooks already on the platform, you'll be able to jump right in with, in a more, you all can participate in very active ways, but as a narrator specifically to projects that are on the platform, you'll have a kind of extra benefit. So I want to go through those. And so coming back to inviting authors to the platform, if you don't yet have an audiobook that you have worked on the platform, getting one of your authors onto the platform will be beneficial in ways that you will soon see. So one of the cool things, there are so many cool things about what we're creating, but one of the cool things, and this has been from the time that we first set up Amplify Audiobooks, which was in 2021, was the very first iteration. But one of the things is that they can earn much higher royalties. So that is typically like 2 to 4 times what other platforms pay out, especially if we're comparing ourselves to Audible, where they pay very low royalties, even if they're paying exclusive, because it's of the net, not of the gross amount that they receive from an audiobook sale. So the authors on Amplify are earning 65% of the gross amount that they get to control their pricing. So they decide what it's going to sell for. And then they have there are other pricing tools, like they can create any kind of discount code they want, not just free. Sure, they can do free, but they could also do 20%, 50%, $2, whatever. So they have all of that control, and they can change their regular pricing. They can put it on promotion if they want. So these are all really helpful tools for authors that they typically don't have anywhere else. So again, it's not just another retailer or another outlet to sell audiobooks. It's something so much more is what we're launching. And the rollout is going to be starting on April 3rd. And so it's really close now. And let me, well, actually, before we get into the show and tell, the really exciting stuff, I don't know how much you all, probably most of you, are aware of the realities of the low royalties and no control for rights holders, but it's really important information for you as part of our industry to understand and be able to communicate to authors. It's kind of a hard truth because we don't want authors to feel like, well, what's the point if I'm not going to be able to earn any royalties? But it's so disappointing when they are all excited about their audiobook and then they put it out there and then they look at their royalty statement from Audible or, wherever they're selling it, and it's disappointingly low. The great thing now is that they have a better option. They have a place where, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't be in all those other places. I do recommend the wide distribution, but have a place where you're going to be able to do well as an author, right? And put your audiobook there as well. And that's what we've been really focused on creating with Amplify Audiobooks. And then the other thing is just about no control. I learned really early on when I had clients who would ask me about, well, can I put my book on promotion? I'm like, there's not really any way to do that. So it's really hard for them. Authors struggle with the marketing piece of audiobooks because they have just so few tools. Yeah, you can do some audiograms, you can put things on social media, but if you have no control over your pricing, it's really challenging. But now, as we are going to head into this third version of Amplify Audiobooks, we have a whole lot more really cool tools. So let me share my screen and we'll jump into the fun stuff. There you go. Okay. All right. So what this is, just let me just also say, all of this, as I said, we're starting the rollout on April 3rd, and it will continue to roll out different features, more pages that will be ready as we go along. Our first iteration is mostly focused on making it so that it's a very smooth experience for authors and for listeners to enroll, to be part of of Amplify. As you can see, sign up free. That is how everyone starts, with a free account. We currently and initially don't have a subscription model. It is People just purchase audiobooks, for that aspect. So there's not, they're not locked into anything. And, so that's what I want to say about that. Okay, so this is a version of the web page the homepage that is not yet done, but I'll give you just a quick overview of kind of the direction we're going with this. So you'll have featured authors. We'll have a place where authors can go, basically like what we call the Creators Cafe, which is a place where authors can more easily connect with each other. We'll have featured audiobooks. We'll have thematic features and reasons why you would want to choose Amplify for everyone, regardless of what your role is in the overall picture of things. And we're very focused on community. So real time, real people, audiobook clubs, events, again, real time people actually meeting online, but still, connecting with each other, like on Zoom. And then conversations is a very, very cool aspect of what we're going to be doing with this platform. And we're going to touch on that more in just a little bit. So, I made notes, so I'm making sure I'm covering the things that I wanted to cover. So let me see. One of the things that I will just mention before we move from this page is that these featured things, like the theme, every month there'll be a new theme, featured audiobooks, featured authors. These are all things that we're not deciding, and an algorithm is not deciding who's going to show up there. The authors are going to decide. It's something they can opt into. And so that gives them a lot more control. We have put so much thought and so much effort into figuring out how we can help as many ways as possible that we can help authors really succeed with their audiobooks. I look at as like from the industry perspective, like I love producing audiobooks. I love narrating audiobooks. And I want it to make sense for them to keep doing more of that. And for it to make sense for them to be able to thrive with their writing so they keep coming up with more great stories that we get to all narrate and produce. And so that's sort of part of that big picture that I'm looking at and how we approached what we were creating. So I'm going to move on now to what the authors will have as their, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't the one. What they will have as their dashboard. Yeah, it's just mislabeled. It will be similar to this, where they're going to get to see, some quick sales metrics. They're going to have a task list of things that, they can do. These are some quick things that they can do about like featuring, setting up an event, finding collaborators. Narrators fall into that collaborators category. And you'll see more about that. But I just want to give you an idea of the kind of experience that authors will have. And I want to do that. I'm doing that partly because when you're excited about what they're going to get, it will help. It's just going to help everybody, right? So, let's see what I wanted to do next. We talked about royalties. We talked about pricing control. And then when we look at, there are different ways, like the featuring, there are different ways they can amplify their different titles. And so we're, again, trying to look at how can we support them in their marketing process. That's where most authors really struggle. They love the whole process of getting the audiobook ready and all that. And then it can be really hard for them when they're trying to figure out, well, how do I market it now? Okay. Then I want to go into my community. Okay, here is where I don't think this is, oh, maybe this one is live. It is live. Okay. Collaborators. This is not exactly set up exactly the way it's going to be, but there will be a section where when you have a project on the platform, you will show up as a collaborator for that project. There, we are building in ways so that if you come onto the platform and find a book that you're not showing up, like that your narrator page isn't showing up, then you will be able to, there's like a claiming kind of process for that. But authors will be able, if they have the narrator's contact information, they will be able to invite them right in the process of adding the audiobook. And if they don't have your email address, then they will still be able to add your name, but they won't yet, then either, we may be able to facilitate helping them, find you as narrator. Most of you are probably on our email list, which is probably how you know to be here today. So that problem probably won't be yours, but it could be for somebody else. But there are ways that, that we really want to help facilitate all of that. So we'll do our best. Okay. And then we're going to talk also about the marketing workshop. Hold on. Okay. In the marketing workshop here, on the dashboard, we saw the next steps for them to market. They will have an author page. And I'm going to show you this because I don't have the narrator page yet. It's not ready for us to show anything yet, but you will have something very similar to this for each narrator who has a book on the platform. You will have a narrator page. And so you will be able to add your headshot or an avatar. If you feel comfortable with putting your headshot on there, we really want this to feel like we are a group of people, not just a bunch of avatars. I understand not everyone feels comfortable with that, and that's okay. It's certainly an option, but we will encourage you to use a real picture if you're okay with that. You'll have your bio available. Let's see. Looking at the pieces so it's not exactly the same as the authors. But there will be, I don't think I have, no, I don't have that yet. Okay. So the public facing page is going to, it'll have your picture, there will be a way for people to follow you as a narrator. It will have all the books on the Amplify platform that you have participated in, whether you've been the solo narrator or have been in the cast. And so, and let's see, bio, follow. It will not have your contact information. And that is a deliberate choice. That's also true for the authors. Their contact information is not going to be available. That's really mostly for safety for everybody. Okay. And then let's see, I think the next thing, so some of the other things authors will be able to do, and that we will encourage them to be in communication with you about, and they can do that right through the platform. Like if they decide to put it on sale, it would be great for you guys to know that it's on sale, right? That can help spread your it gives you opportunities to say to your following, hey, check this out. It's on sale right now. Things like that. We will be, we're already starting this, but we will be encouraging authors when they're producing audiobooks with us to provide for everyone who worked on their project to get a free code. Or if they don't want to do a free code, then a discount code for the cast members. I don't think we've ever had an author say, no, I don't want to give a free code to the cast members. That hasn't happened yet, but I'm just saying, we're not going to force them, but we will ask nicely and encourage them to do so. So that's going to give you the extra benefit of having that audiobook yourself in your own library. And as we get into this engagement piece that I'll show you, it'll make it so it's really easy for you as well. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go into. All right, we'll start here. Just to give you a quick look at like what is available here when you have like a listener who comes in. This is the Explore page. And there's, a lot of it is, I guess, kind of typical in terms of, yes, there are audiobooks for sale and there are recommendations that are based on their preferences, things that they've searched for, things like that. They'll have a wish list because we're always encouraging them to take that next step and go ahead and get the audiobook. Events, that is something that nobody else has. And of course, they have their library. This one I think is really cool. You can search by genre, and there will be more of those, but you can also search by mood. Or maybe you're going to go on a flight and you know exactly how long you have. So, or you have a commute. So you can do some selections in that way as well. In the community section, or I think of it like the rooms on the website, there will be clubs, which are like audiobook clubs where that's like a recurring event. And so there are those. And then there's also one-off events, which could be, let's say, for example, you're launching an audiobook and the author says, hey, as the narrator, would you like to join me in this launch event? That is the kind of thing that would be kind of a perfect event on this platform. And then these are conversations that are happening around each book. The way I think about how we as humans find bonds, how we build relationships, and so much of it is through shared experiences. And we have an opportunity here with audiobooks, with the shared experience of an audiobook as the author, as the narrator, as every listener who's part of that project manager, audio engineer. We've all had a shared experience with this content. And this is a way that I think that we can really build community. And so that's this next thing I'm going to show in the listening nook is going to explain how these show up and what these are. So let's go there. So here we have, many of the same similar kinds of things. The following could be their narrator following happens as well, as I mentioned. And then when they click into, when they click into this, I'm actually going to jump over to a different screen. So it's similar to this. This is the one, hold on 1 second. Yeah. Okay. So what's going on here? Let me tell you. I'm actually going to go to this one, I think. When you click into a book to go back to listen to it or to start to listen to it, there are if you look over here at these tabs, you'll see you can have bookmarks. So a listener can maybe you just want to note something, bookmark a place, and some other place retailers have that sort of thing. You can see the different chapters. But this section is completely unique. This is like a built-in personal journal right into the audiobook platform. So let's say, we'll first speak to this as a listener. Let's say you're a listener and you're listening to an audiobook and you think, oh man, that really just hits home for me because of an experience I had. Maybe you want to make a note for yourself as it's either as it's playing or, at a certain point, or maybe you pause it. That doesn't matter, but you're making that, so it could be like, oh, wow, that really hit home. Now, it's time-stamped, and you can choose whether you want to keep it private, you want to share it with the other people who are listening to this audiobook, or you want to make it generally public. We do have a no spoilers, or you can add a spoiler alert because we're cognizant of, we don't want to be messing up people's experience. But you can then save that reflection, and that if I made that reflection public, or so that others can see it, those reflections are what's showing up. Oops, where did it go? Or that's what's showing up in these with the different titles. Okay. So it's building a kind of conversation around the work. So let's say for you as narrators, if there are sections that just were very meaningful to you, or you wanted to say something about them, whatever comments you have, if you put in a comment or reflection and make it not private, but either to followers or the public, then other listeners will be able to see that. So here, it's my reflections. Here, you can actually see what others have written. There is this spoiler alert protection. So the idea is, as somebody is going through the audiobook, they're not seeing comments from, the climax of the audiobook when they're just at the beginning, right? But people can choose. You can only just see your own reflections, or you can see these as well. So this becomes, now, see, I might go in here and I might say, I'm really, we're going to have a thing where they can tag the narrators or the authors. And so if they tag you, they're going to, they may want to ask you a question or comment on something, about it, about the way you read that, or, whatever it might be. This is that building the conversation within the audiobook. It's all new. So there are questions, that we'll be finding out, how effectively that communication is happening. And, we're excited about that. And, I'm fully expecting for tweaks to be needed as we move forward and learn new things about it. But one of the ways that for anyone who has an audiobook on the platform already, will be able to really jump in and help us kind of seed the platform, if you will. These conversations would be, if you can go in and add at least one comment at where at some point in the audiobook that was meaningful to you, that would be great. You could ask the author a question on there. It doesn't have to be just with listeners. It's everyone who's participated on that project. And then there's another really cool feature for the rights holders, for authors, publishers, and that is prompts. And this is not really showing it quite in the easiest way for me to explain it, but authors will be able to add a prompt, which might be a question they might like the listener to consider, or it might be, there's so many possibilities, but I'll just leave it at that. So they could add something. It's built into the timeline, so those prompts would show up when the listener gets to that point, right? For some authors, let's say, just as an example, they ask questions that they would like for their listeners to be able to really think about. Or they come to the end of a chapter and there's something that they would like them to, take some additional time with. Those are just some possibilities. What you're seeing in this image over here, these images that are held, that are blurred out right now because of where I am in the flow of the audiobook, the authors will be able to add rich media as well. So that could be, imagine a fantasy where you've got different maps, in the book where, now we're in this part of this fantasy kingdom. Well, they'll actually be able to show that map. Or like we have an audiobook that we're working on right now that is, it's actually a coffee table book with essays, and there are these beautiful images, photographs of California wildflowers. Those images will be able to be visible. So we're creating something that it's an enhanced way of experiencing an audiobook. Now, not every audiobook is going to have that or need that or, call for it, but some will really benefit. And what we're finding is that the authors are getting really excited about that potential. Let's pause for a moment. We'll be right back. Would you like to earn more from your audiobook sales? If you're an author with an audiobook, you may have noticed that royalties from Audible especially, and other platforms as well, are frankly kinda pathetically low, disappointingly low, and unfairly low considering what it cost you in effort and resources to create it. How is it the retailers are the ones making all the money off your work and investment? As someone who started in the audiobook industry in 1981, I've found it frustrating that authors keep getting shortchanged. The good news is that Pro Audio Voices just launched Amplify Audiobooks, a direct sale audiobook platform for authors that puts you back in the driver's seat. Earn 65% of the gross sales price that you set. Compare that to the percentage of the percentage that retailers give. Run promotions on schedule whenever you want. Create coupon codes. Build community with your customers, since you'll know who they are and how to contact them. Work with a caring, responsive, supportive team to help you succeed all along the way. Get help with marketing. Get paid weekly. We're helping audiobook authors who are frustrated by painfully low royalties and the barriers that prevent them from managing their own products and customers. Amplify Audiobooks is a direct sale platform that enables authors to earn much higher royalties and have way more control. We're disrupting the audiobook industry by putting authors first. Get started today at proaudiovoices.app or go to proaudiovoices.com and click on the Distribution Amplify link. Join the movement. So, let me just sort of come back to, over to this marketing workshop page. As narrators, you're not going to have like a marketing workshop place so much on the website, but you will have your narrator page that you will have control over. You can update your bio at any time, things like that. You'll be able to be gaining followers. And I think the more that you engage, the more likely you are to get those followers, right? The more that you engage as well, the more I suspect that authors will recognize the great value that you're bringing to their marketing efforts. And, that just builds that relationship. Building that relationship is a great way to, get future work with that same author. And, so being engaged with the project also, I know that for me, some of the projects that I've worked on that have been the most meaningful, even though I'm moving on to other things, I don't want to just, I would love to be more engaged, more in conversation with others about this work that we have done. And so I'm assuming I am not the only one in the world that feels that way, and that you guys might share that experience with me. So being able to stay part of the conversation, and then the codes that authors will be providing, they are the ones who are in control of that, because this is very much designed to help authors with their audiobook sales and marketing and engagement, and building their community. But this is a way that, as I said earlier, that they'll be able to provide an additional value and benefit to you. And you also, let's say if you have if you have a following, and and you maybe ask the author to say, hey, I would love to share a discount code with my following, if that's if you're game for that. That's a way for you to provide extra value to your followers, which is always a great thing, and also to help the author at the same time. Some of the things that are coming up that we don't have yet, but we are going to be adding podcasts to the platform, especially ones that are book and publishing related. And one of the main reasons for that is to be able to help authors and narrators and podcasters to be able to facilitate that connection, so that if you'd like to be a guest on a podcast, or be a guest on a podcast with your author, that we're going to have a curated group of podcasts ready to do that. And then that guest appearance will also help with the audiobook sales, and it's all right in the same platform. So that is the bulk of what I wanted to show you. I have a few questions for you, and then I would like to open it up to your questions for me. So my questions for you are, like, what features that you're seeing are most exciting to you? What do you think would be of greatest value to you of what I've been talking about and showing you? Are there features that you have thought of or are thinking of now that you think might fit well on the platform, but that I didn't mention? Would love to hear about those. And you put any of this in the chat, any of your responses would be very helpful. And I am curious about one of the features that authors will be able to do at a certain level of membership is to host audiobook clubs. And my question for narrators is, if hosting an audiobook club was an option for you as a narrator, is that something that you might be interested in doing? Because we haven't fully fleshed out all the nitty-gritty details of what a narrator persona will be able to do aside from that narrator page. So, I'd love to know what you see as especially valuable to you as narrators, because we're here for you too. And any questions? I have not been watching the chat, but I know Elias has. Thank you, Elias.
Yeah.
If you do have any questions, please feel free to just unmute and go ahead and ask. Mm-hmm. No.
We've been talking about, people seem very excited about reflections in general, sort of also the rich media, the author prompts. We're also talking about podcasts a little bit, about the distribution of podcasts, and if it's going to be on the platform or on also other platforms. And I think the answer to that is, well, if we're not distributing the podcast, it's not excluding its presence on other platforms. If I'm
Right. So we do help some podcasters with production and distribution, and but we will be we'll be doing some outreach to podcasters who specifically have book related podcasts, and inviting them onto the platform as a part of this overall plan. So we would be able to and fully prepared to help them with broader distribution if that's something that they want our help with, but that would not be a required thing. And one of the things that I think I just like to say about audiobook as well as podcast, like sales and such, is that it is like if we were to say, oh, you have to be exclusive on Amplify, that would be really counter to our vision and mission here. And so it's not something we're going to do. We're trying to create an alternative place where authors, rights holders, narrators, the audiobook community can come together and can thrive. Because it feels very much like out there in the rest of the world, information is blocked. Authors don't get to know who bought their audiobook. And, there's just so much division. And I believe there's a better way. And I also believe that we don't know that a true win means everybody wins. Not that one person wins and another person loses, which is the way most of it is out there. It just feels like, oh yeah, we'll sell your audiobook, but you're not going to, they just, they're like the big retailers, they just keep so much of the royalties. It's like, I get it. Yeah, you need to survive as a business, but you don't need to abuse everybody who's providing your content for you in the process. That's the way I feel about it. So I'm trying to create a place that is sustainable, community focused, caring. That's what I'm trying to build. And
yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm super excited about everything you're saying right now, and thank you so much for all of this, and it's such a pleasure to meet everybody. So when does all this roll out? I mean, I'm jazzed up here.
Awesome. Thank you. It's starting to roll out April 3rd. We currently, I think, I haven't tested it yet because I've the one. So it's possible right now. We might have some things that are already fully live, but I have to go through and test and make sure that there are no pieces missing on like that onboarding piece. So before I say, yeah, some things are actually live, but officially we're starting that rollout on April 3rd. And then we're doing a publisher's preview call on March 25th. So if you have connections with publishers, it would be great if you could invite them. You can put that link in the chat. Let me just grab that.
And then I'm assuming you'll send everything out to us so we can
Yes.
sign up and Got it.
Yes. And the recording of this video, it will be my Audiobook Connection podcast this week, will be a little intro into this, but then this recording from today, and then that will be on YouTube, should be up on Thursday. So if you know others that you would like to share that with, just go to the Pro Audio Voices YouTube channel, and you should be able to find it pretty easily there.
Got it.
This is very timely. I just put an author on to you today, and I think she's actually booked a call with you. She's got about 6 audiobook projects that she wants to do over the next couple of years. So this has been extremely timely.
Oh, good. Yeah, it feels like we had hoped to launch last October, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like creating a platform with this much complexity is wow. It just takes so much detailed work. Like every time you start, you think, oh yeah, I know how I want that to work. And then it's like, there are a million questions for every little thing. And it's exciting, super exciting. And it also just has taken a lot longer than we thought it was going to. But so, I've been just like chomping at the bit for months. But it's been an amazing process because so many cool ideas have come just through asking all the questions.
Wonderful. Cool. Awesome. I haven't heard talk like this since we left Full Sail.
Yeah. I'll just take this moment as well. I just have so much respect and love for all of you being part of Pro Audio Voices. I started this company, just me, narrating audiobooks. And now we have over 700 narrators in our talent pool and an amazing management team. And it is so, being able to offer this now is truly a dream come true. So I'm just really glad you're all here and that you're part of us.
So, Becky, I have a quick question. So normally we get an email if we're being requested to submit an audition. Is it going to stay like that? Is that how it's going to continue to work?
It will, yeah. We are not shifting any of the casting stuff over into this new dedicated website. So like right now, Amplify Audiobooks is embedded in as part of Pro Audio Voices website. And that is one of the most challenging things because it's a WordPress website. And this is, we just can't do that much there. So this has been a complete custom build for the new Amplify website. And casting is still going through Kartra. It's not perfect. It's got its glitches, but for right now, it's the best solution that we have. And
the app, I presume, will be updated also with all the new Amplify stuff.
It will, yes. Yes. So everything is going to get smoother. So what I understand from the app developer is everything will essentially mirror what's on the web app.
Website. Okay.
And now with the web app, people will be able to also, or alternatively, listen on their computer.
So it sounds also to me like any book that is currently on Amplify, that will be part of the library or part of the library that the author and or narrator can then promote through the Amplify platform. That's right.
Yeah, all of that has already been migrated over, so it's already there.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the mobile app is still pulling it from its prior location, but everything is migrated over, and anything that's new that's added will be migrated over.
And I'm sorry to take up all the time with all the questions, but they're popping into as you're saying something. Will we as narrators and or the authors from their own website be able to link to anything on the Amplify website or the book, or to be able to, so people can find it
Yes.
like from our website?
Absolutely. Yes. And that is something that we definitely encourage our authors to do. And yes, you're right. We should make that clear for narrators too.
And
I appreciate that.
just on a completely off note, congratulations on The Legend of Valentine. It was fabulous. It
Thank
was
you.
an amazing book. Loved it.
Thank you so much.
And congratulations on the win at Silva's.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
And Aisha, is that the right way to say your name?
Yes, Aisha Zephyr. Thank you so much for this presentation. I still am a little confused.
Oh.
The reality is when we are, trying to get on rosters and things like that, they'll ask for your link to Audible. So how will that correlate to books that are available on Amplify? Is this global distribution? Is it like BookFunnel? I'm still kind of confused. Where does the book lie? Is it just within Amplify or?
Yeah, so
No.
it is. Yeah, so audiobooks on Amplify are just within Amplify. But okay, so let me clarify a little bit. Let me just take one sort of step back into the production side of things to address this question better. When we move into distribution from producing an audiobook, we add it to Amplify, and we also send it through Authors Republic for broad distribution. Unless an author tells us they want something different, like we have some that just say, no, I just want it on Amplify, and that's their choice. That's fine. But so the audiobook, you can link directly to or send a link to Amplify if somebody is saying they want to, a link on Audible. Then if it's on Audible, you would send them there, I guess. We're trying to, okay, so it is still at the scale of startup, that's we're, even though we've been at this for a few years, this upgrade is really huge and really sets us apart in so many ways. And in one way, it's similar to BookFunnel, and that is that it's direct sale. How it is very different from BookFunnel is that there's all this engagement potential, but there's also a whole bookstore around the audiobooks. So one of the challenges for authors who use BookFunnel is it's all siloed. Like, it's just them. They're not going to get discovered by somebody. Oh, hey, I see a sci-fi. Oh, look at that one. That one looks interesting too. You don't get any of that. It's like you have to direct people to your website and get it there. And there's some other sort of in the weeds things, but generally, does that answer the question?
It does. And you mentioned Authors Republic, if they wanted to have global distribution, which means it could go out to Libro FM, Spotify, Audible, and people could purchase from a variety of different places, and submit their reviews there. Is there a spot within Amplify to do reviews? Did I miss that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So, generally I encourage do the wide distribution, but when you're out there marketing and sending people to your project, then, send them to Amplify, because you're, as an author, they're going to benefit from much higher royalties. It's usually about, depending on where, what you're comparing to. For Audible, it's often about 4 times what they would earn for each sale. For other platforms, it's more, it's closer to 2 times, but it depends. But they have control on Amplify, and they don't have control anywhere else.
So if we haven't narrated anything through Amplify, we're not going to be, until we have that, then we would have a narrator page. Am I understanding it correctly?
Yes.
Because it's not a talent page.
No, it's not a talent page. There's not like a roster of all of our talent. It is not that. But you may have projects on there that you're just not aware are on there. Right? So you will be notified about, so we're going to be doing a lot of like encouragement and, kind of orientations, ways to all the things that we can do to help people start to adopt and really, utilize the platform. So you will definitely hear from us if you have one on there. And you can even look now, you can just go on to Amplify Audiobooks and look for yourself on the mobile app. Although I will admit the search tool currently is not as great as it will be very soon. Let's see. Mike, I see your question about recovering your username. You can always submit a ticket, but Marcus is the person who's usually helping with that most of the time. He does a lot of our customer service for Amplify.
I apologize for my own stupidity, but at my age, I'm getting to where I can't remember. And while you were talking, I thought, well, let me go open the Amplify app and see what I can see. But it's been a while, and I don't remember what I used for my username. So,
yeah. Is there? Well, you can definitely go to Amplify. If you just go to Amplify Audiobooks website, just go there. If you put that in, it'll take you straight to the store. There should be a forgot username option.
And you can also just always email amplify@proaudiovoices.com. And like Becky said, Marcus will walk you through anything that needs to be done. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And Aisha?
Just double checking. A couple of weeks ago, I received something in the email from Pro Audio to update my narrator profile. Is that associated with the Amplify
No.
audiobooks or no? It's completely separate still. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Still
Thanks.
separate. And, we've been, Sam, our casting director, has been, she's very proactive on behalf of all of you in terms of like, improving the systems that we have available for the, how we have our, all of the casting stuff. And I'm as eager as she is to be able to, improve the systems that we have. Just for right now, we're very focused on getting this piece launched. And then in a few months, we will probably have the energy and focus to be able to look at what else we can do to make it smoother for our narrators. Nina, I see you found the mobile app. You're mostly on computer, and that is a part of what this launch is providing, is a computer app, like a web app. So you will be able to use it fully on the computer very soon.
Yeah, so that's the one thing I just want to make it clear. If you are looking for it, you will not find the V3 quite yet. We are aiming to launch early in April. So currently, the app is just offering the basic functionality of, as a player, you're able to listen to the audiobooks that you purchase through Amplify. We're already offering that 65% of gross sales price. So that's already happening. But all these features will be launching in the new iteration. So look out for that soon, but yeah, you wouldn't be able to find it quite yet.
I'm so glad you were able to join us for this episode and to get a view of what's coming up with our Amplify Audiobooks version 3 that is launching April 3rd, 2023. And the first phase of the rollout on April 3rd, that's when it starts. The first phase will not yet have quite all the tools that we're building in It will be a growing platform ongoing, of course, like any good platform is. And we have a lot of things already almost completely developed that also will be specifically valuable to publishers. And we have a publisher preview event on March 25th, 2026. So if you are a publisher or know a publisher that you would like to invite to that event, the information is on the proaudiovoices.com website. So check that out and you can register or share that event with others. The other thing I wanted just to quickly mention here is that there are some really exciting incentives for the folks who sign up early and get on board and help us really shape this platform into a beautiful community-centric place where we can gather around the shared experiences of the audiobooks that we love. Again, thanks so much for joining me on today's episode. Thanks for joining us for Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. Please take a moment to subscribe at audiobookconnection.com. The podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Learn more at proaudiovoices.com. Again, thanks for being with us, and please join us next week.